Welcome to the Intra-Center Transition Form training. My name is Sharon Haynes. I will be your trainer for today's training on the use of this important tracking tool. This is the Intra-Center Transition Form that we are currently using at my site. This form allows us to track the movement of the staff and the children throughout the day. If used properly, this tool will illustrate the adult-child ratio during the day as well as aid in the supervision of the children in your classroom. We will now examine the proper use of this tool. For the purpose of this training, we will be using a fictitious center with fictitious staff and children. In our example, the ABC Center only opens one of its 3 classrooms for morning arrival. Therefore, they use the form for the arrival and label it the opening form. When the staff arrive, they sign in by writing their name on the top of the form and count the number of children that arrived at the opening of the center. The 3 children that arrived during the opening of the center are then recorded in the section below labeled Child's Name. The time of arrival is also recorded. The children's names are handwritten as they arrive to the center, not pre-typed the day before. Most regulatory agencies reviewing this form will hold you accountable for all the children written on this form for the day that it was used. If the form was prepared in advance and a staff person forgets to mark the child absent for the day, the regulatory agency would view this child as present. This may cause a supervision and/or ratio issue. The teachers continue to write the children's names on the form as they arrive in the classroom. When additional teachers arrive to the opening classroom, they count the number of children in the classroom upon their arrival. In this example, the teachers have signed the children out of the Intra-Center Transition Form as they begin to move them to their classrooms for the day. Even if the opening classroom is their classroom to be used by the teachers signed into the opening form, they will sign themselves and the children out of the opening form. It's important not only to record the time that the teachers are departing the classroom, but also for the teachers to count the number of children present before leaving the opening classroom. The children are also signed out of the opening classroom, noting the time and the location that they will be moving to. In this case, classroom is coded CR with the room number. The staff removing the children from the opening classroom initial the form, therefore making them responsible for the supervision of the children during this transition. Now the children and the staff have arrived in their classroom for the day. In this example, when the teachers arrive in Classroom 1, they sign themselves and the children into the Classroom 1 Intra-Center Transition Form. As the children arrive in Classroom 1, the teachers write their names and arrival time on the form. They will continue to use this form for the remainder of the day. As the children transition throughout the center, their movements are recorded on this form. In this example, the teachers have signed out of their classroom at 9 a.m. for their playground time, coded PG, and the teacher has initialed each child as they are signed out. The teacher also signs out of the classroom and counts how many children are in the room before they leave. When this classroom completed their playground time, they transitioned back into the classroom at 9:30, and the teachers signed the children back into Classroom 1. The teachers also sign back into the classroom and count how many children have returned with them. There are instances when the children are removed from the classroom for therapy, speech and language testing, and/or assessments. In this case, a child is signed out of the classroom for therapy coded T, and signed back into the classroom by the teacher who initials off on this transition. During lunchtime, teaching staff must sign out and back into the classroom. Staff covering lunch must also sign into the classroom, count the number of children upon their arrival, and sign out when coverage is completed. Once again, we must continue to record the movement of staff and children throughout the day. On this screen, you will see that the lunch coverage has been completed, and now the children are outside for their playtime. Now, we are approaching the end of the day when children begin leaving the center. The staff must record when the children leave for the day by using H for home. As you can see on this screen, we have now had 3 children go home. Most centers combine classrooms as the numbers decline and staff begin to leave for the day. In our example above, at 4:35 p.m., all of the remaining children and staff are signed out of Classroom 1 and are transitioned into Classroom 2, coded CR2, for the remainder of the day. We have now transitioned into the closing classroom. The teachers sign into the classroom using the Intra Center Transition Form labeled Closing Classroom. The staff add all of the children in the closing classroom and add the count at the top. As the staff sign out for the day, they must count the number of children present in the classroom before they leave. At the end of the day, the closing staff conducts a sweep of the center to ensure that all of the children have left. Once the sweep has been completed, the staff sign out of the Intra Center Transition Form stating that 0 children were present when they exited the center. Thank you for your interest in the Intra Center Transition Form. It is my hope that this training will help you provide the proper staffing and supervision for the safety of your children.